Browns fans, stop what you're doing right now because the situation at Berea just took a turn that has me feeling seriously uneasy. We were all waiting for some clarity on who would lead our offense this season, but instead of answers, we got more questions after a rough minicamp performance. The competition for the starting quarterback spot is wide open, and frankly, the lack of a clear leader is causing some major headaches. Is our front office hiding something, or are we in for another long year? Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and comment your thoughts while we break this down. Todd Monken entered his first minicamp as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns with a clear objective: to identify a starting quarterback before the summer break. However, that plan has officially shifted as the competition between Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders is set to continue well into training camp. This delay marks a significant departure from the head coach's original timeline established back at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. While Monken once envisioned having a firm answer by the conclusion of mandatory veteran minicamp, the reality of the current roster situation has proven to be more complex. Even with the excitement surrounding a fresh energy in Berea and the recent blockbuster trade of Myles Garrett to the Los Angeles Rams, the organization finds itself stuck in a familiar cycle of uncertainty. The decision to extend this battle suggests that neither signal caller has managed to gain a decisive advantage throughout the spring workouts. For the Dawg Pound, this news brings a sense of familiar tension as the team looks to move past their status as a struggling offense. Monken, who rejoined the organization for the first time since 2019, appears to be grappling with the reality that the Browns rarely operate in a perfect world. The 30-year-old Watson, despite having a clean slate and returning to full health, failed to separate himself from the younger competition in the eyes of the coaching staff. During both voluntary OTAs and mandatory minicamp, the inconsistency in the passing game remained a focal point. Monken went as far as describing recent interceptions thrown by both players during 7-on-7 drills as embarrassing, particularly because those errors occurred without the pressure of an active pass rush on the field today. The inability to name a starter right now raises significant questions about the team's trajectory as they prepare for the upcoming season. Deshaun Watson, who maintained his belief that he would return to play in the NFL, recently noted that his confidence was bolstered by internal conversations within the building. These comments have led to growing speculation regarding the true nature of this quarterback battle. Some observers are beginning to wonder if the competition is less of a legitimate race and more of a delay in naming a player as the starter. The reality is that the Browns need to be prepared to win games starting in mid-September, not mid-June. By leaving the position up in the air, the organization faces a longer period of evaluation that consumes valuable practice reps, which could otherwise be used to build cohesion among the starters. While Monken continues to publicly advocate for the idea that he has 2 starting caliber quarterbacks on his roster, the visual evidence on the practice field tells a different story. Throughout several sessions, the offense has struggled to establish a rhythm or display the kind of playmaking ability associated with top-tier units. This struggle is particularly noticeable given Monken's background. Just a few months ago, he was calling plays for Lamar Jackson and guiding the Baltimore Ravens toward postseason contention. Now, he is tasked with managing a room that lacks that same level of established production. For the Browns, this ongoing uncertainty regarding the most important position on the field is the primary takeaway from the minicamp sessions. The team is still searching for its offensive identity while the summer heat begins to rise in Berea. Why does this matter right now for the team? The answer lies in the immediate pressure to improve an offense that ranked among the worst in the NFL for 2 consecutive seasons. By failing to declare a winner between Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders, the coaching staff is effectively prolonging a period of instability that directly impacts the readiness of the entire unit. A quarterback is the engine of the offense, and when that spot remains fluid, timing with wide receivers, rapport with the offensive line, and the overall execution of the playbook all suffer. The team is not just waiting for a name to be called. They are waiting for a leader to emerge who can move the chains and capitalize on the young talent currently developing across the roster. The depth chart remains in flux, and until a decision is finalized, the rotation of first-team reps will continue to prevent one player from gaining necessary chemistry with the primary weapons. This matters because the window to build a cohesive offensive machine is closing rapidly before the real games begin in September. While the front office, led by the strategy of using premium draft capital elsewhere, might hope for internal solution, the current performance levels suggest that neither candidate has seized the opportunity to solidify their place. Monken is doing his best to manage the expectations and the personnel, but the absence of a clear starting quarterback is a glaring obstacle to progress. Every repetition in training camp will now be magnified, as the margin for error remains razor thin for a team looking to shed its reputation for offensive inconsistency and elevate its competitive standard this coming year. The focus on the quarterback room serves as a stark reminder of the challenges ahead for this young organization. Even if Shedeur Sanders is viewed by some as a potential lottery jackpot in the making, the path to him becoming a reliable starter is currently theoretical rather than proven. If Monken can successfully develop the rookie, it would certainly allow the front office to allocate their massive war chest of draft picks toward other positions of need, but that remains a distant goal. As it stands, the performance from the entire group has been reminiscent of the lackluster displays seen last year. The fact that the quarterbacks are still turning the ball over during drills where no defenders are rushing the passer is a concerning trend that the team must correct before they face actual adversity on the field. Monken's own assessment of these mistakes highlights the gap between current output and the requirements for a winning offense in the modern league. Watson's status as a veteran who is fully healthy should theoretically provide a stable foundation, yet his inaccuracies remain a consistent issue that the coaching staff cannot ignore. Whether this situation will truly resolve itself in training camp remains to be seen, but the extension of this timeline shows that the initial plan to reach a consensus was far too optimistic. The pressure is on both players to improve drastically over the next few weeks. If the trend continues, the organization will face difficult questions about their roster construction and their ability to put a functional offensive unit on the field. The upcoming training camp will be the ultimate test to determine if these internal adjustments can finally produce a definitive leader for this squad. Looking at the broader picture, the situation in Berea illustrates a team caught between its ambitions for a new era and the harsh realities of their current roster. Todd Monken's transition back to the team has been defined by this lingering quarterback dilemma, overshadowing other positive developments around the camp. While there is a belief that the organization is moving in the right direction, the success of any rebuild depends on the stability of the starting quarterback position. The fact that the competition must bleed into the summer indicates that the coaching staff is not yet comfortable putting their trust in either option. This is a critical development because training camp is traditionally the time to fine-tune schemes rather than decide the pecking order of the signal callers. Every practice, where the rotation remains fluid, is a lost opportunity to build the specialized chemistry required for a high-functioning offense. The Browns have shown they are willing to take risks, such as the major trade involving Myles Garrett, but these aggressive moves require an effective offense to be fully realized. As of right now, it is difficult to look at either Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders as the definitive long-term answer. The similarities to last season's bottom-tier production are the most concerning aspect for the coaching staff and the front office alike. If they cannot resolve this situation quickly once camp commences, the team risks repeating the same struggles that defined their previous campaign. Monken is running out of time to find his version of the quarterback play that he is accustomed to, and the next few weeks of practice will be decisive for the future of the entire offensive staff.